Welcome to today's video. This is part 3 of Unit 8 from the book Play Piano Now, Book 1. This is for the busy adult. So let's go ahead and talk about this last section here. We are on pages 92 to 95. Okay, so 92 introduces us to the sharp sign. The sharp sign before a note. Now it's before a note, which means on the staff you see the sharp sign and then you see the note to the right of it. So the sharp sign should be to the left. But when it's written out as a note name, you write the note first and then the sharp afterwards to say C sharp or A sharp, etc. So it says here when you have the sharp, you're going to play the next key to the right, which means raising the key by a half step. So if we have C here, we're raising it to the right a half step, which brings it to this key right here. This is called C sharp. Well, this is called C. D, D sharp, E. Now this one does not have a black key right here. So we go to this one. This is known as E sharp. The enharmonic, or the key with the same key with a different name, is also called F. F becomes F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Same thing as we talked about with F and E. This C is enharmonic. It's also called B sharp, also called C. Okay, so also in the box there on page 92, when a sharp appears before a note, it applies to that note for the rest of the measure. So notice that D and then C sharp is introduced on beat 2. We have D again, we have another C, but it does not need to have a sharp next to it because it's still going to be sharp if it's in that same measure. After the bar line, the accidental will be cancelled and you'll have to write in another sharp if you want to play a C sharp again. Okay, so we have here a tune called Money Can't Buy Everything. We have sharps. We have a C sharp. We also have an A sharp. And so when you play that in G position, you will play using the finger that you would normally play with the natural key with that key. So if you have C, you would play C sharp, still with finger number 4. And if you have A, you'd play A sharp with finger number 2. Let's go ahead and play through this. Money Can't Buy Everything in G position. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Okay, so notice that everything is non-legato. Make sure that there is a clear space of silence in between each note. Also, that the right hand should be a little bit louder than the left hand because left hand is simply playing those harmonic intervals. You may want to go through the harmonic intervals one at a time first to get to know them. Third, 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 etc. And then for the right hand, you simply prepare your finger either on C sharp or A sharp there when you have it in the measure. All the other measures are going to be natural. Not every C or A is going to be sharp. Most of them are natural. Okay, so practicing one hand at a time should prepare you to be able to put both hands together. If you've come this far, this one shouldn't be too difficult to play. And notice also the first two systems are going to be forte. The second two systems are piano. So it pretty much sounds the same as the first two systems, except for the last two measures, you're going to be playing forte again. Okay, let's go ahead now, play and sing the words here, if you are into that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Money can't buy everything. Money can't make you a king. Money may not bring success. Money can't buy happiness. But of one thing I am sure, money doesn't make you poor. Money doesn't make you sad. Money can't be all that bad. Interesting words. Okay, now we're on page number 93 there. Next one is written assignments. So there is a little bit of something going on here. It's describing how you should write or draw the sharp when either on a line or a space. And so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that. Okay, so now we have here a staff, and we're going to talk about how to draw a sharp. Okay, so the first thing when we have lines, when we draw it on the line, we should, just like when we draw a note, so if we were to draw a note on a line, the note would, or the line would go right through the middle of the circle of the note. And depending on where it is, we would draw our stem. Now, when we draw a sharp, let's go ahead and move this guy over a little bit. Okay, so when we draw a sharp, the same thing should apply for the sharp. The sharp should have a line going right through the middle part of the sharp. So you can see right there, this is the middle of the four crosses there of that sharp, and it goes right through the middle there. Okay, so that's for a line, always making sure it goes right through the middle and that the lines and the crosses surround it. When it comes to doing this on a space, let's put now this note here on a space, not as big. And then of course we have our line. With the space, we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put a sharp, just like this, to the left of the note, and it should go fit right there in the middle of the sharp, raising this note a half step to the next key. Okay, so that's how we draw our sharps. And on page 93, please fill out the note names and the sharps. Draw them carefully. 94, we have practice exercise, sight reading. We're reading these notes in G position. Here we go. Let's go ahead and go over these notes. There we go. B. C. C. Okay, so no explanation because this is supposed to be sight reading practice for you. Just a demonstration now for number 2 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now the last part of Unit 8 is Will You, Won't You? Notice that this is adapted from Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. The right hand for the first two systems is the legato articulation. So I would start out by drawing some slashes after the slurs, or dividing where the lifts should be in the left hand, because you will be lifting or mixed articulation for both hands here. So let's go ahead and do a little demonstration first before we start talking a little bit more about it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for this last one here, will you, won't you? You definitely should be playing one hand at a time. First of all, go over the harmonic intervals there in the left hand. 4, and that's tied, that fifth, tied for 2 measures. 4th, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, then rest, rest. Don't forget those rests there. 4th again, this time 2 measures of whole note, lift, 3rd. So there is going to be lifts in the left hand. Now notice here, descending pentascale, but we have a crescendo there from piano, from mezzo forte to forte. Lift, rest, 3, 4, rest, 3, 4, rest, 3, 4, but take this out. A, B, C, B, 4th. The slur goes to the next measure from measure 12 to 13 in the left hand. So connect those two together. Boom. Rest, 3, 4. Rest, 3, 4. Bunch of fourths. And then here the legato for this last measure. B, D, G. Okay. After going over the left hand alone, let's go over the right hand. B, A sharp, B, here's an A sharp. This is an example of the A still being sharp, even though you don't have to write it in the second time. Legato. Okay, so you have legato all the way to that C. Lift, and then another phrase. This one's a little bit longer. Two, 3, 4, lift. Okay, so that's all legato. There is a crescendo there. You can't really crescendo with the A because it's a whole note, but when you get down here to 9, all non-legato, please. 2 measures of legato. Shape it. Lift. Now, try not to let this fool you when you come here for both hands. Lift after that B, but not on it, but after you're going to lift. Here we go. Lift, come down together because it's still slurred here. Come together, but lift, come down, legato, okay? So that's how we put that together. Make sure that the dynamics are correct and that you carefully work on the articulations. All right, let's practice this every day, and we will see you at next lesson.